If you have ever created a listing on Airbnb and then just didn't show up in search, right? You're paying for a property and it's not getting bookings because you can't get the listing to show up, this video is for you. I'm gonna help you fix that. Airbnb's had some past reasons why this happens, but they have a new one. They actually made a very big mistake in their new API update that is ruining a lot of hosts like listing creation. It's really screwing up people's mojo. I'm gonna teach you how to fix this in this video and give you a couple other software-based tips for you because some of you could really use it. Let's just be honest, you guys could use some of the education. That's why you guys are here, right? To learn about how to do short-term rentals. My name's Sean, I teach this, obviously. Welcome to my YouTube channel, and let's jump in. Welcome back, YouTube world. So, updates, I just got back from Burning Man, and we added on 35 of 55 properties while I was at Burning Man. How cool is that? So yes, you can automate this business. And in the process of adding 35 listings, we had like a dozen of them just like disappear into the abyss. And it caused Haley great heartache. So we actually are off the back of a solution that I just figured out yesterday. Just figured this out yesterday. I'm gonna give it to you right away so you guys can kind of get on with your lives and get your listings to make money. This is super important. So first off, what you need to know is that Airbnb did an API update and it actually ruined a lot of software connections. If you guys have Wheelhouse, Price Labs, Beyond Pricing, Guesty, Hostfully, we were using Hostfully and then had to drop it because there's this lockout that happened. There was a lot of drama. Well, this same Airbnb API update is the one that's causing what I call the test listing bug. Now, this is the newest reason why people's stuff isn't showing up in search. Now, we have another issue we're dealing with Airbnb, which is a address verification issue. And so if some of you are having a hard time getting your listings to show up and it's not a test listing bug, it might be because when you added your address, it asked you if you're sure that's the right address and you hit yes. Well, Airbnb is having a hard time verifying that the address you chose is actually a good one, and they are really anti-fraud lately. And so if they cannot validate an address, they're not gonna let the listing go live. So if your address could have a different address, then I would consider that. We did some stuff in Seabrook, but it's technically El Lago and Airbnb's confused. So we had to get on the phone with Airbnb and fix that. Airbnb's official statement is they also hold all listings for 24 hours before making them public. And I don't think that's actually true. If any of you create a listing and it shows up in an hour, please say so in the comments so people know that this is not actually a true statement, but I think they teach their customer service staff to say that to get everybody off their back. So the test listing bug comes from the that there are softwares now that you can create your Airbnb listing and VRBO listing, Booking.com listing all at the same time, right? So you can, through a channel manager like Guesty, Tokeet, something like that, create a listing and then that channel manager like distributes it to all of the channels, right? So you just create it once and saves you a bunch of time. This is really cool, but Airbnb also gave some of these softwares the option putting a listing up in test mode or creating a test listing so you could have test bookings and kind of have a dress rehearsal for your business. And that's where the test listing problem comes in. Now, if you're attached to any software, right? Wheelhouse, Price Labs, Guesty, Hostfully, anything, and you try to create a listing on Airbnb while you're attached, it's going to just assume that the listing is in test mode because I think the way that that's really hard to say because I think the way that the Airbnb API is set up is that it wants something inside the API called this is not a test listing. And if you create something on the Airbnb platform, there's no button to say this is not a test listing. So that's why it's going on. So very simply stated, if you want to create a listing, you need to go to your account, right? Top right, click on account. Then there's gonna be privacy and sharing. Then after privacy and sharing, you're gonna go to services. And before I tell you what to do in services, I want you to like and subscribe to this video and also know that I'm teaching on the 14th of October in Las Vegas market research. If you're looking for picking up more Airbnb properties, I'm going to teach you exactly how to do that. Okay, so get a ticket, 50% off with my code Sean50. I'll see you guys in Las Vegas if you want to learn market research in a big, big way. So now that we're at account, I know I had to do that, guys. That was my commercial. Now that we're at account, privacy and sharing and services, any softwares that are connected to your Airbnb account will show up and you're going to click below them and just remove them. So say remove Wheelhouse, remove Guesty, remove Tokeet. Remove them on the Airbnb side and just wipe all software connections and then go create a listing. I'm going to give you a couple bonuses on this. If you're creating multiple listings, like we just did 15 in Seabrook and we're doing 40 in Houston. I'm actually going down to Houston in a few days to photograph 20 listings because I'm about to have a mastermind and I need to shoot some content for the mastermind, how to do photography at scale. And so I'm going to be down there shooting and creating some course content, you know, two birds, one stone. If you're creating 20 properties or 40 properties at once, you can create one and then you can go for the next one, go to duplicate a listing. The thing about duplicate a listing is they've really abstracted this. It's different than it used to be. When you duplicate a listing, it'll tell you duplicate listing created on this day or started on this day, this day, this day. The reason why they do this kind of date-based masking is they don't want you going to a specific listing that you created a year and a half ago. Go, I want to duplicate that. Because they don't want you duplicating listings because you had a problem. They want to duplicate listings if you're trying to create 20 of the same one. So Airbnb's now masked their duplicate thing so you can't actually see a photo or the name of the listing that you're duplicating. It's just going to ask you if you want to duplicate the one that you did yesterday or the one that you did today. Makes a lot of sense for quality control, but that's new. They also moved a lot of stuff. When you create a listing, there used to be the option to do listing description, about the space, other things to note, getting around, neighborhood, stuff like that. A lot of those were in the original setup page. They actually moved all that stuff. So in a future video, I'm going to do a new video on how to create a listing from scratch to update you on all the other tomfoolery that Airbnb has changed. And there's gonna be a lot more content on what you can do to run a better short-term rental business right here on the channel. Even though the channel's not called Airbnb Automated anymore, it's still my favorite thing to talk about. If you have any requests for videos, put them in the comments. And as always, I'll see you on the other side.